If you don't believe, you better get superstitious. Ask my sisters. Ooh, she's vicious. I'm so excited right now.
I don't know what's happening.
I do! Ha.
Well, I do know what's happening. Welcome to Age of Cinema. I'm Jonathan Strickland.
And I'm so happy right now.
So we're doing one of her choices, clearly.
Because I get two. Jonathan Strickland. The bald guy. The tech stuff guy. The internet celebrity. Has never seen Hocus Pocus. And I get to show him Hocus Pocus.
Yes, I have seen the I Put a Spell on You clip, because everyone shares it every Halloween. As per usual, we try to get a snack that is
Oh my god.
suitable.
Now, Hocus Pocus, there's no scene where they just sit down and eat, unless you count
Eating children.
Yeah, unless you count that beginning part.
So I don't have any long pig suppliers here. So instead of that, you never heard of long pig?
I know what long pig is.
Okay.
And that's not exactly how they eat children.
But, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So instead of having kids over for dinner, because everyone shares this on Halloween, I thought, wouldn't it be funny
Oh my god.
for us to have some Halloween candy?
When did you get this Halloween candy, Jonathan?
Some of it's probably been in there since the late 90s.
Oh my god, no!
No, I'm just
You're okay.
It's not that old. But maybe some of this could easily be 4 or 5 years old. Also, not just Halloween candy. In fact, there's very little Halloween candy in here.
Let's see.
We do have Easter.
Oh my
We
god.
have Easter candy in here.
Wait, I'm not a rich woman, but I could afford to get us, Halloween candy.
Have another Easter.
Oh my
bunny.
god, no.
Yeah, we got. Look, see, here's an Easter egg one here.
Here's
Got some Easter ones.
Lindor chocolate.
Oh no, there's some
that one.
fancy stuff in here too. We got some Dove chocolate.
I'm gonna throw the hell up after eating this shit.
We've got Starburst.
Ew.
Those stay good.
I don't like
Those stay
Starburst.
good.
You can eat those.
Okay.
I like chocolate and more chocolate.
We got lots of chocolate, and we have peanut butter and chocolate.
Do you have any
chocolates.
Clark bars?
No Clark bars.
Oh, well, that is actually a thing in the movie. So.
We got. You see, here's strawberry shortcake, Dove chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try that one.
So yeah, there's Valentine's Day candy and Easter candy and Halloween candy. And Mom and Dad, I love you, but you can stop giving me candy now.
It's one from your mom and dad.
Most of it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we get
If we're dead at the end of this video.
But in every, my parents still make Easter baskets for me and my wife, and they still give us Christmas stockings, and they're always full of candy.
My mom still makes me an Easter basket.
So I have jars, or I did have jars full of candy, and I was thinking, Shay might eat candy. I could probably dump this on her.
Ooh, a cookies and cream Hershey's egg. I might eat this.
Yeah, that's an Easter one, but yeah. So we're just lumping all holidays into Halloween is what we're doing.
I mean, Valentine's Day is like the shitty version of Halloween anyway, so that works.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the usual thing where we turn the camera off, we watch the movie, that way we don't have any copyright issues.
It's a shame because I really want to turn it on for the part. For the Bette Midler part.
Alright.
But I don't want to get
Don't get a copyright strike.
I want this to be able to be viewed in France.
So we're going to have a discussion after the camera's off where I have already promised Shay that I'm not going to shred her favorite movie to tiny, teeny pieces even if I hate it.
Because he's already shredded Muppet Christmas Carol to pieces.
Because it's a bad movie. So.
You're entitled to your wrong opinion.
What?
There's things I want you to watch for in the movie. Because
Let's have a discussion after the movie.
There's things that he needs to watch for. Okay.
We'll have the discussion after the movie. We'll find out if I picked up on those things.
If we're not dead. Yeah.
Alright.
Alright.
Yeah, from Sugar Shock.
Mm-hmm.
All
Come,
right.
little bookworms, we'll take thee away into a land of Kenny Ortega choreographed musical numbers.
Cut.
Jonathan Strickland just saw Hocus Pocus. I'm so happy. What'd you think?
Okay, how do I walk the delicate line of not upsetting you about one of your favorite movies, and what my reaction was. All right, so first of all, I have to. There's certain things I have to keep in mind as a viewer. For example, that this was a film that was made for kids, and therefore certain things that make no sense you can forgive because it's a movie made for kids. There's certain leaps that make no sense whatsoever, but it's a kid's movie, so you got to give it some slack.
Yeah.
So, for example, having a character know the tune to "I Put a Spell on You" when she's been dead for 300 years. Great example. Shouldn't be able to happen, but it's a kid's movie.
She just heard the song. She had just heard the song. The guy, the skeleton singer.
And then she managed to do the whole song, including the bridge that had nothing to do with like the little bit she heard. Also, there's a bit where she tells the kid who's driving the car to pull over and show her his driver's permit, which she also would not know about from being dead for 300 years.
Unless they talk about driver's permit in hell.
I didn't hate it. I did not think. I didn't think it was great. The performances were okay. The witches are great, but everybody else is okay. Okay.
So the witches are having a great time.
Thora Birch is an asshole. No, I should be more specific. Thora Birch's character is an asshole. Thora Birch, I'm sure, is a wonderful woman. A lovely woman. I've never met the woman. I am sure she is magnificent. The character is an asshole. Now, we were having this discussion while we were watching it. Like, I even was like, it was like Rocky Horror when I'm watching it. After every time she finished a line, I would just finish it with asshole. I don't know. None of it was charming to me. Or none of it. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, I'm not saying it's a terrible movie. I mean, I made that joke. But I'm not saying it's really a terrible movie. There's nothing in that film that appeals to me at this stage in my life.
Okay.
So I watched the movie and I thought, well, maybe if I'd seen it when I was a kid, I'd like it more. But I never watched it as a kid. I watch it and I'm just like, nothing's working for me. Nothing worked for me. Like, the performances were okay, but they were also a little weird. Like, the characters are unevenly written. And again, it's a kids' movie. Huh?
Explain.
Like, Winifred, I felt that she was... Again, performance is fantastic. But I felt like there are certain points where she's coming across as extremely shrewd and intelligent and single-minded in her purpose, and others where she seems like a total, like...
Bat. Like, just dumb.
Yeah, just batty. Yeah, exactly. And so... Again, it's a kids' movie. You don't need to have these consistencies. It's not that important. The best kids' movies manage to do both, I would argue. The absolute best kids' movies have all the elements that are entertaining to kids and are coherent and cohesive in their storytelling and in their characterizations. But it's hard to do. I mean, it's hard to do in any movie.
I will ask, I know how you feel about how it was written. How do you think it was directed? Like, directing-wise?
I mean, I never really think about that one. I'd probably have to watch it a second time to really think about the direction, because it's, again, like, I'm experiencing it for the very first time watching it, so that's a lot to ask of me for the first time.
If I may.
Yes, please.
I think, here's the catch-22. From what you're telling me, you may never watch it again. However, I think I'm going to put money on it. And by money, I mean candy, because I have no money.
Yeah, but you have lots of candy.
I have lots of candy now, and I ate some, and I'm probably going to die.
It was not terrible candy. You actually liked the candy you tried.
I liked it a little bit, yeah. I think you would appreciate it more on a second viewing, because I think you would pick things up. Because there are things that I've picked up in the movie years later, after years of watching it.
Now, I will say this.
That I appreciated more as an adult than I did as a kid.
So this movie also is filled with cliches, like crazy cliches.
Yeah.
The biggest one is the one that anyone who's seen any movies ever in their life or read a book or anything that involves kids where the kids have had to move to a new place, you can spell out the beats early on. It only matters for the very beginning of the movie. But Max ends up having the whole like thing where he's like upset because the family has just moved and he doesn't have any friends in the new place and he's having a hard time. He kind of got a little, not really humiliated by the girl, but he got essentially like shut down by her.
Yeah, like a boss.
But
Allison shut him down like a boss.
Well, I mean, that was like, he was also coming across as a total like sleaze bucket.
Well, he embarrassed her in class, like an asshole.
And yeah, and then the two bullies steal his shoes.
Yeah.
And you have the classic come home upset that you're there, lock yourself in the room, and then your asshole little sister jumps out at you from the closet and then proceeds to make your emotional fit a very minor in comparison to hers. She's a terrible human being.
She's 8. Well, you know what? We're talking about the cliches. We're talking about the beastly Thora Birch character. I want to talk more about the witches. I know you said you liked them.
Yeah.
But and let's talk about Doug Jones.
What I thought was hilarious is that we have the introduction of Doug Jones' character as he's climbing out of his grave. And Shay here feels the need to lean over and say, "That's Doug Jones," as if I wouldn't know from the way he moved.
I didn't know that you wouldn't automatically know.
Doug Jones is known
Yes,
for playing characters who have very distinctive movements, like the Pale Man in Pan's Labyrinth.
Yes, and Doug Jones is also famous for you don't recognize his face in the movies.
You don't have to, though, but you see him, like, he has such a command over his body for making very specific movements. He acts on a physicality level that hardly anyone else in Hollywood can even match.
The thing that I like about this movie, in regards to the witches, is that it's easy when you're a kid to grow up with the witches. Like, each year that I've watched this, since I was a wee lass, I find something else funny that I find the witches funny for a different reason. Like, I used to think, Winifred's crazy facial expressions were hilarious. Who says you need eyebrows to emote properly? Because Bette Midler doesn't need them. She doesn't need them in this movie. And then, I find Sarah's background antics hilarious because she's always doing something silly in the background. Sarah Jessica Parker is in it. She never breaks character. She's always doing something dumb in the background, and it's hilarious. And then Kathy Najimy, I feel like she's the sister that people growing overlook, but she has the best lines. Mary Sanderson has the best lines in this whole movie, and she's so sweet. Like, she's like this. She would be the witch in the gingerbread house. She would be the one that lures kids in, but just because of how sweet she is, and then she'd kill them. But at first, she's initially very sweet.
We're watching the George C. Scott film, The Changeling. It was made in the very early 80s. In fact, and the fashion is in that time period where it spans the late 70s, early 80s. So you got lots of wide collars and flared pant legs.
And long, weird, page boy haircuts.
And a lot of corduroy. Get ready for a lot of corduroy.
How did people move back then and all
Loudly.
That? You can't really sneak up on anybody in the 70s.
But it's The Changeling is a ghost film, so it's all about ghosts, not demons this time.
Okay.
So, yeah. That being said, we're wrapping up. Good night.
Come, little bald guy, I'll take thee away into a land of 90s nostalgia.
Maybe that's why I don't like the movie. I remember the 90s way too well.
I don't, because I was born in it.